Hello. I hope the music isn't too loud, and I hope that my voice, you can kind of hear my voice. I don't feel like I like the last stream where I felt like the music was just a little bit too loud. So hopefully it's not loud. If it is, can you please just let me know. It's good to be back. I'm glad that we finally have a day where I really okay. The sound is good. Thank you, Rima. How are you doing? How's your day been so far? But yeah, I'm glad we have a day where we can finally look for some things to happen. We'll kind of get into that. I may have a little bit of time to go over the trade that I took yesterday. We'll see if that is the case. Yeah, we'll see. So kind of getting into the higher time frame, we're going to look over here at the daily time frame and then the hourly time frame. So the daily time frame, we have this volume imbalance here. What I'm expecting is on this hourly chart, I'll just zoom in a little bit. I want to see these order blocks here as we see here, support price. We had this down here as well, so this will be a propulsion block. So I like to see if we can start to reach up towards these equal highs. We do have a little bit of SMT down there, and you can see we use this fair value gap right here and it expanded higher. So I am gonna look for a little bit higher prices. I'm glad that your day is going great. I'm doing well too. Glad to be back doing this. I miss kind of doing this live stream a little bit, but I do like kind of trading and being able to listen to some music, because right now, as you guys know, I can't really listen to the music, or you guys would hear it twice. But we're pretty much looking for higher prices. We're looking for these levels here to get taken out. So now we have SMT right here. As you can see, that's what I like to see in my trades. So all this above here, these equal highs, that's what I expect us to be targeting for today. Let's get into pretty much here. I haven't done any of this yet. I kind of saved it so you can kind of see like the process a little bit of what I go through each day. So we're kind of put this on the, we'll kind of make this bigger so you can kind of see what I look at. Okay, so we have this inverse fair value gap right here on the hourly chart, so I like that. So I'm going to note that as an inverse fair value gap, and I note it like this. So this is the process I go through every single day for trading. Also, what I think this is key to have here is that we traded off of this fair value gap there. So I try not to have too much all on my charts, because then it looks insanely busy, and I don't know how to like read everything because it's just too much on there. So I do like this hourly order block, so I will note that here because I think it's important, especially if we're going to be targeting these highs up here. So we have this side here, this is buy side here, and then we also have buy side up here, these equal highs. That would be like the current high of the week. This would be the current weekly high. So there's buy side that rests above there, and then we have all-time highs up here. So do we have that enough for that today? I'm not exactly sure, but I am looking for these to get hit. So now we'll go back down to the 15-minute chart. What do we see on here? So in the 15-minute chart, we have that breaker there. This was held there. So I'd like to see if we can kind of close this as a fair value gap and then use this to trade higher. That's what I'd be looking for. So in terms here on the 15-minute chart, we do have this order block there, but I'm not going to note that because it's kind of inside of this hourly one. So I'm going to leave that there. The 5-minute chart, what do we see here? We do have a fair value gap on the 5-minute chart. I will note that here. So I think this is important. And it already took out this buy side there, so not really worried about that. Yeah, so we have a breaker here too on the 5-minute chart, so hopefully we can kind of come up here and come back down here. And if we're able to do that, again, like I'm looking for higher prices, so that's going to be my, oops, let me put that back to the 15-minute chart. That's going to be what I am looking for today. Interval and below, looking for higher prices. So we'll see if that will be available to us for today. But that's the goal for me. Looking for higher prices here. It's you see how we came really close to these equal highs and then kind of rammed lower. I think that is them trying to put in another, we'll say, high or safety net that would kind of lull people into thinking that this is a high and we should be looking for lower prices. Again, I don't think that's the case at all. So we'll be looking for higher prices today. Sorry, I'm trying to set up my other screen. I don't know if it's like messing around with you guys. Yeah, so right now we kind of traded into the new day opening gap. Yeah, okay, I see it on the stream how I was messing over there and it was flickering. So new day opening gap, we are trading into the new week opening gap currently right here. We're at the middle of it. So I'm expecting us to trade higher. That's essentially what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for lower prices. I believe that we can take out the all-time highs. So, and these are the short-term buy side here. That's where I'm looking for us to target today. It's way more than 50 handles away. So that gives me a good probability of having a nice trade set up. And again, we do have SMT currently here. On the 15-minute chart, you can see it here. So hopefully we can create a fair value gap here. I would like to see that. And then so we have this order block here with this gap, or you can even use this as a breaker. I would like to see that, and then we can trade up higher. That would be my goal. That's what I'd like to see. See something down here. So yeah, obviously you see here, again, I don't pay attention to Dow like that much, like too much. But as you see, we do have SMT there between the two. Gotta go back here. All three of them, they should all be moving in concert. You see how this went lower and then traded up higher. So I think that is also plays in alignment with this SMT, which you see here. So higher prices, I think, is in order, and just have to wait for a setup to form. Now, something I do need to make sure, something that I need to just make sure of, we don't have any time constraints. It looks like we may have time constraints. And what I mean by that is, if this is pretty much less than, I'll say 50 to 45, something like that, I'll have to wait until 10 o'clock to take a trade. Even if it means good ones present before then, I will not take the trade. I like to see large opening gaps. So even if you can see this was what, I think 17 handles open. Yeah, 17 handle open. So I would have had to wait till 10 o'clock anyways after 10 o'clock. So none of this rundown would have tricked me at all. I would have always been looking for higher prices. And I saw this yesterday before FOMC, but I couldn't take it because of time elements. I had to take it after FOMC. So the trade I ended up taking was here. And I ended up getting stopped out before trading higher, but that's fine. I'll kind of go over that if I have time. I should. But I just need to make sure that this is a large enough opening range gap so that I'm able to place trades. And I know, like, when they overlap like this is not my favorite because you can't see anything. But I just need to see kind of where it's at in terms of currently. So like we're right at it right now. So for me, if it stays where it's at right now, the trade is not going to, I'm not going to be able to take the trade until 10. And it may run up and do everything that we were expecting before 10 o'clock. If that is the case, we'll have to kind of reassess, and maybe I will trade the PM session. But I don't think I'll be live streaming that. But that would be a possibility, but maybe not. I don't know. But where it's at currently right now, there's no change in the overnight price. So I'm less likely to be trying to get in early. I'm expecting maybe a little bit of high resistance, at least in the first part of it, because it's sitting right there. So that gives me a, wait, I'll make sure I put that on the right one before I keep talking. Yes, okay. So because it's pretty much right at the same level, not as interested in that. So definitely going to be waiting until 10 o'clock to take a trade based off of kind of what I had told you. So I'm thinking up here, this layer liquidity, and then if we get, where is it? Too far back. That's what I'm looking for. So I will go over the trade I took a little yesterday because I think I have some time. How am I going to do this? So I'm going to go here. I'm going to do my chart markups, and then I'll show you the one from yesterday if it loads. Okay, here we go. That's the macro. Here's Wednesday FOMC. So let's go back. I know there's a lot on here. Sorry about that. But this is how I trade. This is like my thought process that you're seeing here. This is pretty much how I end up taking a trade. And so all of this stuff kind of goes into it. So if we look at, actually, this might not be as good. Yeah, this might be too much to see. So I'm gonna go to the 15-minute chart. We're gonna get out of this bar replay to show you that I actually took this trade. It was up here. So let's show the executions. So you can see that they've come on, like I'm not just saying, but pretty much, again, how you saw the other trade that I took. So you had this inverse fair value gap right here. So I liked that one. So I expected this down close candle to hold price, as you see it did. Once it did that, and once I saw a reaction from there, obviously I'm looking at the 5-minute chart as well. And this same area, what do we see here? This is when I tell you I saw this buy. Well, we had this breaker here. You'll see on a lower time frame, it's a 1-minute breaker with this fair value gap at a specific time. Right? Look how it's during the macro. I saw that and would have been targeting there and there, and it would have traded 50 handles and plus, like way beyond that. But I had to wait till after FOMC, which was 2 o'clock. So after this point, I could look for a trade. So as you see here on the 5-minute chart, right, we have this fair value gap right here with this, I guess this would be called a mitigation block on a 5-minute chart. But if you go down to a 1-minute chart, it definitely changes into a breaker. So we're gonna go down to that. Right, so we have a high. There's all these lows down here. A high, low, higher high with what? A fair value gap. I expected this one to stay open. If this one had not traded like this, you see how large of a candle this is? If this had not traded like that, I would have expected to come back down here. My initial buy setup was there and my stop loss below here, but we didn't get that. We just ran up. So the next level that I would expect support from would be this level here. And I pretty much had it right on this line. As you see, I had 2 handles of drawdown from where I entered to as deep as it went. And then it ran above the high. I really thought about taking it all off or taking one off here, but that didn't follow my rules in terms of how I look for 50 handles. I was very aggressive with my stop because of pretty much where we were and how we were pretty much trading above the high. We weren't expanding. So I was very aggressive with where I trailed my stop. I trailed my stop inside of this fair value gap. I knew there was a 5-minute order block that it could have bounced off of, but at that point, I was okay with where it was. I mean, I was in the trade for 22 minutes at this point. That's where I got stopped out. Usually my trades are hit TP in about 30 minutes. So this wouldn't have even gone 50 handles. I think it went 37 point something total. So again, it wouldn't have reached the full 50, but I'm glad because it kind of I'm glad the way that I, went about this trade, but it also gave me better understanding and idea of what we should be looking for today, especially because we failed up there. So now with, we'll go back to the normal charts that we trade off of. Now I'm looking for this high, but ultimately this high that I would have expected yesterday to hit. So that's just kind of going over the trade yesterday from what I saw. But we'll see what we're kind of getting today. I'm looking for higher prices, but that's the kind of support I'm getting and what I'm seeing too. So we'll kind of get off that. I like this candle here. This is a breaker here. So if you're looking on the 1 minute chart, I like this one. But again, I wait for when the first presented fair value gap forms. That's what I wait for specifically. Because as I like to say, it gives me an indication of what I could potentially be looking for in terms of how the market is going to play out. That's what I look for. And then this is always the first presented fair value gap that I put on this chart. So it's just there. It's in yellow. It's obvious. So I know where it is. So just keep an eye out on this. We have about 6 minutes until the market opens. If anyone has any questions, I'm definitely here to answer and to see if I can help. Also, where this actually occurs inside of this hourly inverse fair value gap, this is where yesterday's first presented fair value gap is. So we bounced off of that. As you see, we traded down into that. We use this candle. Let's see if we can get some support happening here. That'd be an idea I'd be looking at. Now, I wouldn't be taking the trade, but this is how I gain an understanding of, am I on side right now? Do I have the right idea of this trade? What I would actually like to see is, because what we're getting right now, I guess it kind of already did that. It kind of closed it. So I would have liked to see the fair value gap form and then us run below this low. But that's not what we're getting right now. So just have to wait and have more patience here. Again, usually you see here I have 8. If I'm starting to get some type of indication or something that even though my trade could go in the right direction, or I think it's gonna be a little bit more high resistance from what I'm seeing, I'll probably lower my risk. And because of that, if I'm seeing those signatures and I don't like what I'm seeing, but I still like the trade setup, that's pretty much what would happen if that is the case. I don't like, I know it's like pre-market, but don't like how deep we traded into this. I would like to see this gap right here remain open as a breakaway gap. And if we can move away, again, most likely thinking that 10 o'clock is going to be our window of opportunity. This is nothing. That's just where it is right now. But that's where we closed yesterday. And that's a very, very, very small gap. 6 handles. So we open about 3 minutes, so yeah, I will have to wait until 10 o'clock to take a trade, and if stuff happens before then I guess that's just kind of what it is today. I'm okay with that. What I've now started to gain and to realize and to truly understand is I don't want to chase. I want it to pretty much come to me, so I don't want to keep trying to find it and force it. If it's not clear, if it's not obvious, I'm not interested. That's pretty much how I look at it now. Just want to make sure the music is still good. I checked and it looked like it went off. I don't know if it's... Not sure. It looks like it's back on now. I just want to make sure everything is good. But yeah, so we traded off of this order block. Look at the bodies. The bodies are telling the story. That's cool. Notice how also the bodies didn't close outside of the 5 minute on the 1 minute chart. And I'm telling you, this is probably gonna be one that just rips. Where waiting till 10 o'clock is like, you wish you could kind of get in, but those are the rules. Those are my rules, and so I have to follow them and be consistent. And that's how I found the ability to stay consistent in what I'm looking for. Even though I can figure out areas where I expect price to bounce from, what makes sense, that's fine. I don't just buy at them just to buy at them. I need to see things supporting what I'm already looking for in price. So if I'm already looking for higher prices, I'm not surprised by this bounce. But if I'm not looking for higher prices, then I'm kind of just guessing, right? I don't want to go to the market and guess. If I can't figure out whether it's going to go higher or whether it's going to go lower, then that means I just need to sit out and wait until I can figure out what's actually going on. And I used to be so, how would I say it? Upset with myself or angry that I've been studying price for, at this point it'd almost be 5 years in October, but I've been studying price for so long that I should automatically know what it's going to do every single day I sit down in front of the charts. Like, that was my expectation, which is so flawed. It's very, very flawed. But that was what I was that's what I was saying to myself, and that's what were my expectations. So again, yeah, this is going to be a day where we are, I'm like, why is it already moving? A day we're waiting till 10 o'clock. So let's go back to the regular trading hours. You see that we had a discount gap, but it's too small, so we don't even need this. Too small. How deep, or how is the gap? 6.25 handles. So again, we're just gonna relax. There's nothing for us to do. Nothing. I am watching the SMT on the other chart just to make sure we still have the signatures that we want to see in price. Just got to make sure we still have that. But we just got to wait right now. So we'll see if we leave in kind of clean levels and stuff. If we are leaving clean levels, I will leave this at 8. If we're not leaving clean levels, I'll probably lower it down to 4. That's probably what I would do. I don't want to be caught in all of this price action. This to me is not favorable. I don't want it. I like us to kind of move away. I want us to show excitement. I want us to be running higher. I want all that to be shown. We do have Trump today at 7. I don't know why he's always talking. I'm not really sure. Yeah, I'm not sure about that, but yeah, he talked today at 7:20 p.m. Not even sure about what, but it feels like almost every day he's talking or has something to say. And yeah, that does inject and invite volatility. So I am going to be waiting. Because right now, like, let's say like right now, right? Should I be long or short right now? Can someone answer me in the chat whether they think I should be long or short right now based off what you see here? What's your expectation right now? Long or short? I'm gonna take all this off. What do you see right now? And long just means you're buying and short means you're selling. This might be the first present the fair value gap at 932, but again, we have to wait and see if that's actually true. Nope. So we have more, what would you call it? Dow went lower and ended up trading higher. So we'll see what we end up getting. So we clean this up down here. Maybe we come down here and clean that up. But I'm watching this. So we have this SMT here. So I'm watching on this on a different time, different screen. So you can see that. But I'm also looking at this because I want to see what are we doing, what's happening. What's this? 933 potentially. So right now we're trading through this inverse fair value gap. We traded down below all of this stuff. We traded down through the hourly hourly order block. This to me looks like it's going to be the first presented fair value gap, so we'll note that on the chart. But again, I have to wait till 10 o'clock, so to give me more information. This first presented fair value gap also overlaps with the one from yesterday. So this one forms at 933. Well, in about 7 seconds, it'll be that one. But this is the fair value gap that we traded on the hourly chart. That's what I had noted there. So we'll see what we get there. Again, going into today, looking at higher prices, but we'll see what we end up getting here. We responded off of the new week opening gap high, the consequent encroachment, but I'm expecting this to be a stop run. I'm gonna trade all the way down there. I want to see us overlap all of this, run right through this. So this 5-minute gap has gotten traded through. So to me, that's not as important right now. So I don't take trades also before the market open. Wait, that's wrong. I want to see us run through all of that. That's what I want to see. Oh, that's the wrong one. So notice how we had this also get taken out here. So now I'm watching this too. So I'm seeing, so we have SMT there. We have also SMT here. So I'm watching to see what do we have there. I like that response because it shows me that that was a stop run. I shouldn't be looking for lower prices. I was hoping someone answered and said lower or something. But that's what I'm looking for. So immediate rundown. Hopefully it doesn't just run up before 10. I'm expecting that to just run right through that first presented fair value gap. I'm not expecting it to hold. But we have to wait. So we came back down, we took these stops down into a 1 hour fair value gap where there is a mitigation block there as well with this wick. We run down, get people in short to trip them in going short, and then we rake it up against everyone attacking the equal highs right here. That's where my eyes are going towards. That's what I would like to see. May lose that SMT at the first high. I'm at the first time I showed you. Right here. Wait, what? Oh yeah, that's the same one. Wait, no, we couldn't. Never mind. It has to go all the way down below that one. Okay. Yeah, I'm looking for higher prices. So we're gonna see if we get that. Now, if this was a, let's say this was a a day where I didn't have to wait till 10 o'clock, because that's the type of scenario that we're present with right now. If I didn't have to wait till 10 o'clock for it trading down to here, and if it would expand above this high, creating a fair value gap over top of this, with this, it'd be a breaker there as well. If we were able to do that, that would be a setup I would take and then target up there, just 50 handles. That's what I would do. But again, for me, it's not telling me right now that it's time to do anything. This is short-term buy side. Also, like, we're spending a lot of time in here. I would have liked, if we're going to be going shorter, I would have liked for us to kind of already move away. We're spending a lot of time inside of this gap, like too much time. But this is short-term buy side here. So this is like, if you ever see this on my chart, that just means that there is buy side there, but it's very, very short term. It's just like a targeting spot. But yeah, that's what I'm looking for. I would like to see this close outside of this gap. This first presented fair value gap, I want to see this close above it on this candle. So I do like that. That's nice. Looks like we're starting to get some nice reaction. Look at this wick though. On like a 15-minute chart. Look how deep that is. It went deep and ran everyone that was in early out. Now we do have this 5-minute fair value gap there, so you see that. But I would like for us to close above it, because then that would be an inverse over top of an hourly fair value gap. Now, I kind of told you, if we could create a fair value gap above this high, and I had no time element that I had to wait for. I'll do this every time. Let me do it now. This is when I have to wait to enter anything. So if we were to create one here and I didn't have a time element, I would buy that and put my stop loss right here, and I would target 50. So it looks something like this. If a fair value gap was created here, before taking that out, what I would do is I do something like, oops. So this has to create a fair value gap here. Like, if it doesn't, then this is obviously nullified. Like, I wouldn't do anything. But let's say it leaves one. It doesn't look like we'll get one. Potentially be very, very small, and this may end up being a breakaway gap, or it could just overlap like it just did there. So nothing there. So that's how that would be my process and my thought process of if I was looking, like I didn't have a time element, I was actually looking for a trade. That's what I would look for. Now what I'd like to see is this. I can note this though. I'd like to see this candle hold as an order block. So from the wick to the open, I want to see us hold that there. So I want to see that act as support there, and then this fair value gap get obviously closed above. I like that reaction, especially if it cannot even reach down there. That's even better, because that to me shows that there is underlying support in this market. And so if it cannot trade down to here, I like that even better, because we were unable to create a fair value gap there, so there'd be no entry thought process there, even though I do have to wait until 10 o'clock to enter because of how small the gap was. But that's easily a target I think that it should hit. That should be so easy. And then ultimately these equal highs up here I think are the main draw. So that's what I'd be looking for. Because we have nice clear SMT as long as it holds here. This went down below here, so we already had this one there that took out that one. Then we had this one here where this one traded lower. So I think we're in a good position for this to definitely attack up here, but see if we can get up to there. We have about a couple minutes before might be able to see this inverse here. I would like to see that, especially how fast we kind of traded up through this. It's about 1 minute until the new 15-minute candle. I don't know what that was. Will I get restart? Am I still good? Is everyone there? Everyone hear me? Is that just me? It looked like my screen. Okay, I just want to make sure I'm still there. Alright, we're good. So right now we actually have respected this 5 minute. We are losing. We have lost this SMT here now from here, but we did trade below again, so this is a third time. So now this SMT right here is now invalidated from there to there, because we actually did trade down there. But the one that still holds right now, okay, still there, okay, thank you, is this one. So just watching to see what we're kind of getting there, because that is a very deep run. But on a 15-minute chart we do have this there, but it does look like now we could be looking for this down here. But I'm going to pretty much just kind of wait and see, you know, what are we respecting here. We do have this low and this low down here. I don't think I saw any SMT to the upside. I could have been wrong. I don't think I saw anything up there, no. So don't have anything up there. I would honestly love for us to come down here again and then create a gap above here. That'd be nice. That'd be very, very nice. But we shall see what we get here, because I don't like how we close below that, to be honest. Because even if you look at a 1 hour chart, let's go back here. Not only we come up here and close back below here, now we have this one. We've traded into this one. And so now we have a below a inverse fair value gap. We have a 5-minute order block. So I would need to see us kind of, you know, start running up above here. That's what I would need to. Sounds choppy hearing most of what you're saying. Yeah, I don't know what's happening right now, because my volume says it's good. My audio, it doesn't say I'm losing any frames. I'm not sure what's happening right now. I'm not sure why I did that. Let me know if it keeps happening. Maybe it's because I'm turning my head and talking, because I'm trying to make sure that everything is still on. Maybe that's the problem. I'll see. So this got ran through. Yeah, hopefully that can get fixed. And as you see here, this order block, we pretty much ran right through it right now. So now this has been invalidated there, and so this would be a I just want to note that, because that is sell side. Do have sell side there. Do have sell side there as well. How far away are we from that? I don't think we're that close. Yeah. So kind of see what we're getting here. I think the SMT to the upside is actually gone. Yeah, so that's gone now. So that's no longer invalid. That's no longer validated. But I hope that the voice and choppiness goes away. Is anyone else having that? If anyone's on, can you let me know? I don't know why. I just think that this is a fake out, but we'll see kind of what we're getting here. We respected that gap. There's a lot of could want to come back down to this daily fair value gap, so we'll kind of look at see what we're getting here, what's playing. back to the 15-minute chart. But let me just check in. I'm gonna turn my sound on real quick just to make sure. Mine sounds like it's working. I'm not sure what happened, but mine sounds like it's working. Mine sounds like everything's fine, but if it's not, again, if that happens, just please let me know. I'll try to fix it. I'm not exactly sure what to do, but it does sound like it's working. It's pretty clear. So yeah, it looks like we have, you know, responded off of not only the new day opening gap from today, but also the new week opening gap, and there are clear lows down here, this sell side with this one, and then let's go to a higher time frame. There's also this one down here. I didn't necessarily see clear SMT to the top side. Maybe I was unaware of it. Oops. No, okay, so there is SMT to the top side. Okay, so where I'm seeing it, I go to the hourly chart. Oh, we have time. There's no rush. I'm not in a worried about where it's going. Not any of those things. So we have this high here, and this high here. SMT. Close below. It looks like we may want to come down and clear some of this stuff up by what it's doing and how it ran through bullish PD arrays. That's pretty much kind of what it looks like right now. So, and we have this daily fair value gap down here below this low, so we may want to actually trade a little bit lower into that. So just have to make sure we can find logical levels to what we'd be looking for. Again, in no rush. It'll come back. If it runs, it runs. And that's okay. We didn't get hurt for thinking upside. We didn't get hurt from thinking downside either. So just patient. Just waiting. It's 9:51. Okay, we just gotta wait for a clear setup. If, you know, seeing the SMT, I would have much rather liked it to come up into here. Kind of see how it hit the order block there, here, and left this as a breakaway gap before hitting down there. That would have been a lot better. I think that would have, yeah, offered way more than 50. But we'll kind of see here. I think this is I mean, obviously for where it's at right now, more probable that it's going to trade down there. But even looking at this, and right now, there's nothing for me to have gotten in. No setup, not off a 5-minute there, none of that. So, yeah, no FOMO. I don't feel like I missed anything. So the sell side has been hit. So just need to make sure it's like a gray color. So that's this one. We've ran pretty deep down from the opening. We'll see what we get at 10 o'clock. We do still have this low, which is pretty much the daily fair value gap, or we may just run right to it. Actually, may just run right into there. I would be very interested to see what happens when we actually get into the daily fair value gap. Do we just erase all of this, or do we actually continue to go lower? Because right now there's a new week opening gap from December 15th that is roughly right here, and then new day opening gap, I think we already hit it or ran through it. Yeah, February 14th, and then we have December 26th, which is pretty much right there as well. So there's a lot of clustering there. And so we hit the December 15th one. And we're very close to that daily fair value gap. Very interested to see what happens when we get here. Do we just keep, yep, so now we hit that. That's this low here. That's this one into this gap. So I'm interested to see what reaction and what do we get from here. So now this has been hit to a daily fair value gap. Was I expecting us to trade that deep into the fair value gap? No. All the way down into that. Definitely was not expecting that from up here. But as you see, this gap, which we had inversed, we now inversed it to the downside. But it's kind of ran so deep down here. I'm not going to sell into this down here. If you're selling down here, I feel like you're just setting yourself up to get some type of retracement higher. You're kind of chasing it right now. I'm not going to be doing that. Today may be a little bit longer of a day, just in terms of yeah, what we may get. So it could potentially go to 11:30. I'm not sure about that, but we'll see. Nothing offered in this move at all, even though I was looking for the upside. Even if I was, for whatever reason, looking to the downside, there would have been no move for me here. It would have had to come down and come into this gap in order for it to be anything, and it didn't do that. It didn't do that, so nothing there. So yeah, this is now pretty much. It's not even reclaimed. It pretty much traded all the way through this. This right here, again, why I would have favored it coming up into here, because this was a bullish fair value gap on the hourly chart, and then got traded through. So then that's why it coming up here would have had a little bit more significance for me, but really wasn't looking for that anyways. So I'm not gonna sit here and play both sides. I wasn't looking for lower prices. I just want to see if we're getting the same thing on, but we've already taken this low out. I'm interested to see, because with ES, we already took this low out on Tuesday, whereas we just took this out today. So I'm interested to see how we are going to react down here below this low. I would expect for us to be expanding below. If it's really going to go below this low, I would expect for a large expansion down below. So we shall see. Just want to leave it like that so we can see. Also, there's SMT there. There. So we'll see. It looks like it wants to continuously. It dug a little bit deeper into the fair value gap on the daily time frame. Just make sure we have everything in the screen. So it's a daily fair value gap. There, that's what that level is. I'd like to see if we can get a reaction from here. Oh wow, it's snowing outside. I didn't know we were supposed to have snow, but it's snowing. So about 2 minutes until we can assess the situation and see if there's anything for us today. Looks like we have just completely melted. I think we're gonna take that out. Yeah, we'll see how deep we trade into here and see what we get. If it just kind of runs and doesn't really offer anything, I may trade the PM session. We'll see how that is. Maybe have a surprise stream. I don't know. Probably not. But yeah, we'll see what we get. Because now this for me is maybe the other way around. Let's go to the hourly chart. This now turns into this, but do have this wick. Do have that. I would like to see it kind of expand a little bit more. See how deep we go into this. Pretty much it just melted. So now it's 10. What are we gonna get at 10 o'clock? From how it looks and what I'm looking at and seeing, it needs to be a lot of things happening for me, at least on a 5-minute chart. So like breaking a short-term high on a 1-minute chart, I'm not trusting that at all. There needs to be more of a willingness to show that price wants to move away. Because this, I mean, look at this range. This is an hourly chart. Let's look at the 15-minute chart. Like, look at this fair value gap. Like, that's huge. So it'd have to do a lot of, yeah, it's just melting. May not get anything today. May just be one of those days where it runs. I mean, we weren't looking for sell side, but there was no entry for me at all. Nowhere. I would not have taken this. Nope. No shot. Again, I always want my trade setups to look the same. They look similar. I don't want like any of them to be looking like just random. So what I would expect though, if we are bullish, I would expect this candle to hold. Like this candle should hold, because this candle is an order block. It's in the upper portion of a daily fair value gap. You also have like this wick here, the top end of this. So I would expect this to hold. The fact that if it doesn't hold, you know, tomorrow we have some interesting things that could potentially be happening if that's going to be the case. But yeah, this should be holding. It shouldn't just get ran through, because if it's doing that, then just wrong on direction. It's probably going to start cleaning up some of this stuff down here. And we have a gap down here. Well, I guess actually, technically that would be the fair value gap. I just saw that because that's a volume imbalance. So it's right there. The mean threshold, the middle of it is up there. And I would still expect this to hold. Still expect it to hold. So yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Also, this is a weekly order block. We hit the top end of that like right now. If I put a line, you'll see. So we hit the top end of that. So we'll see if that ends up holding price and kind of giving us a bullish sense, or is it just a short-term reaction to then end up going a little bit higher? So our short-term reaction going up just to come lower. But I'm looking for higher, so I'm gonna actually go to the weekly chart, and as you see, those are all the trades that I've taken. It's kind of cool. I'm gonna put this here, and that is the weekly. I mean, it's a weekly high. We'll just do that. What did I just do? I don't like that. Escape. There we go. Okay. This is a weekly high to the right. Make sure that's a different color, like purple. Okay, it's a weekly high. So we hit the weekly high. Look at that reaction. That's a kind of nice reaction right there. Off the weekly high. Again, just a little bit of patience here. Want to see patience, want to see things overlapping, because if we are eventually going to go up higher, this is a nice deep retracement against, just to, like they call this, I've heard it many times, called the V-shaped reversal. Pretty much it comes down here and then price ends up closing all the way up there. So that'd be pretty nice. Just have to be patient to make sure that we're seeing things that overlap, that make sense to us, and then we could potentially take a trade if it were to present. So that's a weekly high. It's also an order block. But look at that reaction. Very, very, very nice reaction. So now we have this. This to me is of interest. Where is it? Right there. That's of interest. Is this a so that's a 5-minute. Ooh, that's not what I want. There's a 5-minute fair value gap. I want to see how we trade in that. Yeah, there's a little 5-minute fair value gap there, but that is of no importance to me. I want to see. Now, if price can't even get up to here, then that's showing insane weakness. But I'd like to see if we just hit the December 5th new week, or December 15th, sorry, new week opening gap. Also December 26th new day opening gap. That's kind of where we are right now. But I would like to see us kind of, as they would call it, a V-shaped reversal right here. I want to see that. Let's move this down. How's everyone liking the music? Do you like the music from last time or this time? I think I changed it. It should be something different than last time. Seeing, does this fair value gap hold? Does it leave this one open? Does it just hold there? That's what I'm looking at. Because right now we're also inside of the Friday, January 24th. First presented fair value gap. That's inside the gap right now. Do we trade lower? How are we reacting to that? Again, no indication for me of a sell or a buy right now. Nothing. Nothing yet. I don't feel like I missed anything. Okay. Glad that the music is chilling. I think I may have to buy some headphones so I can listen to it with you guys, but right now I just have the silence and the blowing of the fans on my computer. That's my lo-fi music, I guess. Patience, patience, patience. Does anyone think that we've turned a corner? That we've set the high for the year and going to be going bearish for, let's say, the next couple of months? Or do you think that there's still some upside in the NASDAQ? The NASDAQ-y. Again, this is a 5-minute, like there's a really, really small gap here on the 5-minute chart. I would not expect that to hold. I would love to see us trade above this. It'd be kind of cool to see us trade above, because then this would be a down close candle. If we trade above it, it then becomes an order block. So just watching. If we cannot trade above it, this is obviously a bearish order block, and we trade into it. Could potentially go down below this low one more time. Again, I'm not trying to catch a bottom. I'm also not trying to catch the top either. Like, I'm just gonna let it do what it's gonna do, and then when it's like so clear, then I make my move. But if it's not clear, I'm not gonna do anything. Nisto. Because if we're going to go lower, right, we have this 15-minute fair value gap. Now, if I outline this, you'll see what we have, this 15-minute fair value gap. So if it holds, the only way I could go short is if I want to see it come up here. But then again, let's see how deep that. Yeah, that would offer it. Okay, so the only way I would go short is that this would actually need to come up inside of this one. Take out this stop, because maybe a stop, I want to take out this one too. Break down, give a breaker, and then I would target this low again. But that's the only way I could take shorts. $10, $12. I forgot to do yesterday, but oh, see, we did it again. Why is it like that? You see how it's doing that? Is it F1? Oh shoot, I don't know what I just did. Yeah, I have no idea what I just did. Hold up. I have to close this and then reopen it back up, because I have no idea what I just did. Hopefully it doesn't just do the same thing. F11. There we go. Ha! We're good. Hopefully it loads back up. There we go. So now I know when I get myself stuck, it's F11. Because that's not good. Because I didn't know how to do that. I was kind of confused right there. So, like I said, this would become a 5-minute order block if we can trade above this very convincingly. Could trade above that convincingly, break this high, create a fair value gap. I want to take the long if it can do that. But yeah, it needs to do that first. So I'm going to take this off the chart because it needs to present that first before I don't want to get caught into an idea and it doesn't do that. But that's what, because I like the support from down here, right? I like to see where the bodies are closing here. We have 44 seconds, so I would like a little bit more. there. We'll see what ends up happening here. I'm gonna lower my leverage actually to 4. Okay, so this is gonna close. Okay, no, it might not close. Yeah, so right now it didn't close above that gap. It's right at it. I would like this to support price. If it would have closed above a little bit more convincingly, I would have bought it down here and taken 50 handles. I didn't like the way it closed, so, and also, yeah, I'd like to kind of see if we can create a gap over top of that. We did, oh yeah, so we did now create a 15-minute fair value gap. So we'll see how that plays out. But I would have bought it down here if it would have been more convincing, and probably would have taken it up. Even though we're trading into a 15-minute fair value gap, I still probably would have done that. There you go. So do we leave that as a breakaway gap? That's also very important to see. Now, if we have more of convincing, I will raise this up to 8, but I need to see that first before that happens. Now, I do like this as long as we don't like run away, and we can create this gap here. Like we don't just run away, or obviously we don't just scream down lower. That's something that I'd be willing to take right here. I leave 4 on right below there, and I'd look for a 50. But it needs to offer that. Like right now, that small little gap is not it for me. It needs to be a little bit more than that. Even though I still think it's a viable option, I just would like it to be a little bit more aggressive, you know, trading below that high. Because now we do have this. This could potentially be a breakaway gap. This would be a breakaway gap. I'm not mad if this ends up, yeah, but look how small that gap is right there. I don't like it as much. If it had left a little bit more of it open, I would take a buy there. I would feel confident in taking that buy, but that gap's a little bit too small for me. Very, very small for me. I would love for this to be a little bit more aggressive and trade it back down into that. Then I would have been long, but follow rules and there's really nothing there. Might be a breakaway gap. I like that. I like that actually. So now what I'm looking at, as long as we don't run aggressively too far, and we can create a decently sized fair value gap here, like a decently sized one, not one that's like 2 inches, and we don't run like crazy far away, I'll buy this. So as long as we don't I actually really like this one, so as long as we can do that, I will do that. Let's see, stop loss would be there. Actually, it wouldn't be that far. 802. It'd be there. And I would, whoa, that's actually not my stop loss. It'd be below here. Wait, am I tripping right now? No. Oh yeah, it'd be there. Okay. I'm going to buy this. That's too much. It needs to be like there. So if we can do this, I like this. So that'll be the trade setup. We can trade down into that gap. Hopefully we can. Let's take a picture before. Doesn't look like we got it there. Seeing this is that. Breakaway gap here. Yeah, so I actually like it right there. That'd be my trade setup if it can, you know, somehow trade down into that fair value gap. I like that. I'm looking at this as a breakaway gap. I mean a breaker. Looking at this right there. Hopefully we can do that, not just run up higher. I mean, just praying that we can trade down a little bit, just, you know, just a tick deeper. But I like this one. I don't think we're gonna get it. I don't think we're gonna get it. Look at that. Look at that. That'd be a nice trade, right? Just kind of hit it down into the gap and just straight away. That'd been pretty nice. We'll see what we get here. I'm ultimately leaning up here. I don't want to see us run too far. I like this area. I like to see if we can come back down here slightly, because this would also be an order block there and not just scream all the way up there. But, you know, anything can happen in the market. It's allowed to do whatever it wants to do. All we can do is prepare and patience. Just have patience. Patience, no need to rush. Last time that we took a trade yesterday, it was pretty much the same scenario where it ran, went up higher, came back down to our level, and then it ended up expanding away. So we did hit consummate encroachment of that gap. We do have 3 minutes. We would be creating a 5-minute fair value gap there in about 3 minutes. So if it can kind of hold there, and if it comes back down into it, I would like that even more. Yeah. That's the setup I like. I'm also, tempted to, let's just see this. Yeah, I gotta leave it below that. Yeah, that's pretty much my setup right there. Consolidating there would be lovely. And then after this closes, if it's gonna end up going bullish, obviously, trading down below into this fair value gap, which would be kind of like right where the entry is, and then see if we can get some upside movement. That would be my thought process here, if we can do that. We may not. Okay, so now we're into the trade. Could go deeper, we could be offsides, but this is the setup that I like. This is what I was waiting for, and we'll just let it go. Whatever happens, happens here. So I do see we kind of, I don't like where the bodies have kind of closed here, if I'm being honest. Where the body closed, I'm not a huge fan, but I'd like to see it kind of, move away a little bit more with aggressive price action now, especially in that specific gap. I want to see it start kind of expanding a little bit higher. And if we can do that, and hold this. If we do end up trading below this low, it needs to be like very, very shallow, and we need to start like, you know, attacking higher, because if we come back down here again, probably gonna be offsides. I understand I'm trading up into a 15-minute fair value gap. I understand that. Also a 5-minute fair value gap. I do understand that and see that. But I think especially after hitting a weekly high, a weekly order block, I like to see it start to move away. I like this reaction. I like where the body's kind of closed in this upper portion. Now we just need to see the continuation. I don't want to see too much. I don't want to see it hang around in here too much, or honestly really go below that low. That's what I really don't want to see, because that's also letting me know that probably not as bullish as I thought. But I like this candle here. I like how we pretty much, like, I will say engulfed it. I guess that's the term. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I want to see that hold, if I'm being honest. Current interval and below. And then I want to see us expand above this high, like aggressively. Like, I don't want to be seeing too much holding here. If we get above this high, I need it to be quick, aggressive, sudden, because that's also what I kind of want to see in the trade. It's not just like because I'm buying, but like if I was selling, I would say the same thing. Like in my trades, I'm expecting to see above highs, quick, sudden speed movement. Like that's what I'm expecting to see. So we'll see how this trade pans out. I mean, I do see this. I don't like it. Don't get me wrong. I don't like how it's spending a lot of time in here, especially in this lower portion. But I do think that it's going to end up trading a little bit higher. I do see this. Ideally, I want to see this remain a breakaway gap. Like I want to see it remain unfilled. I don't want to see a price trade down there. Again, we're only looking for, it might even be more than 50 handles. Let me just make sure. Because that's the, is that 49? It's 50. Yeah, that's fine. This is a trade setup. So it is spending some time there, a little bit more than I would like, but we're going to let it play out. Again, like I said, above this high, if we can get above this high, large range candles attacking this, like this right here, that's what I would be expecting for it to attack if it can get above there. I also would need to be watching this on a lower time frame just to make sure if we are able to get above here and expand above there, that ES is doing the same thing. That's what I would need to see that. I think I need to be kind of watching that on a lower time frame as well. Let's do that real quick. Yeah, I need to be watching. So on the other time frame, I have ES on the 1 minute chart, just to make sure we're seeing complement things, or if we're seeing SMT, that they're both doing the same thing. I don't want to see this go lower and then S&P is going lower as well. They needs to be reacting, pretty much doing the same thing there. Again, I'm not trying to pick a bottom. I'm not trying to say this is where that is. I was just waiting for specific signatures. We didn't get that. I feel confident with what I saw over here. I guess I see this as a stepping stool in price, where it's like a foothold where it can hold and then ultimately to attack up here. But I could be wrong. Like this all could be wrong. could all be just staying in a lower portion and then just break down below. That's also a potential too. I just also need to just, for my awareness and my time stop. So here, if nothing occurs by 10:53, then wherever it is, oops, I didn't even put anything there. Wherever it is in time, I'm gonna have to close the trade, because that's usually the time element they like to see in my trades, in terms of like when it goes pretty much 50 handles, it usually happens within that time frame. I don't like how shallow these 5-minute candles are inside this gap. I don't like that. But this is a part of trading. It does things maybe you don't like, or I don't know what else. It does things you do like. I don't know, one or the other, pretty much. So if we're able to trade above that high, which I believe we will. So ES, we've already done that. So S&P, we've already traded above the high. So when we go above the high, we need to expand. Like we can't come up here and then go back, because that's not insinuating that we're gonna probably be attacking up here. So I like how ES closed above the high. This needs to kind of follow and catch up. We can't go back above there and fall shallow, like pretty much like it did right there. That's not what we want to see. Trust me, right when it kind of, I'm just gonna kind of speak it out. Right when it kind of did this and closed like this, my mind is telling me just to jam my stop loss up there so I don't take a loss. I'm not gonna do that. Just so you guys know what's actually going on inside as I'm taking trades. Like, I don't want to sit here and pretend like everything is good or everything is going according to plan. I'm just trying to tell you how I'm feeling inside with how shallow, because to me this looks again like yesterday. If we're going above highs, it shouldn't be shallow. Now, can I maybe reduce my risk? Yes. Is it still a potential where price could come down to here and not to this fair value gap and trade higher? Yes, that's also potential there as well. And I'm allowing myself and have that willingness for that to happen, and I'm okay with what happens either or. A loss doesn't define me as a trader. It doesn't change anything. It's a part of trading. Would I like this to have expanded above? Would I like this to have acted like with more speed and more excitement? Yes, I would like that to happen. But you know, what's going to happen in this chart is going to happen whether I'm in a trade or not. Like, it doesn't change the fact just because I'm in a trade that it's going to act a certain way or respond a certain way. It's either going to go up there or it's not. Like, that's it. And I am watching ES because I don't want to see a lot of give back. If I am starting to see a lot of give back, I'm going to have to, I will probably close the trade because I don't like what I'm seeing in ES. So I want him again. This is just too slow. To me, it looks like it's potentially come up here, but it's consolidating here, right at this high. But I'm just watching ES because if ES starts to give back, then I probably have to close this trade because I'm not seeing the same elements that I would want to see in the trade. But again, I have a time stop until 10:53. I'm gonna let this play out actually. Not trying to force anything, not trying to protect myself so I don't take a loss. Like, I'm gonna let this one play. Again, I don't like how it's creeping. Like, I will say that I don't like how it's creeping up, and these candles are too small, way too small. And let's say we can go above this one. If we go up above a third time, so this is 1, this would be 2. If we can go back up above a third time and we are unable to hold that, then this is probably gonna come down here. but I'm allowing this to play out. As long as I'm seeing similar support in ES, I'm going to allow this to play out. As soon as I stop seeing similar support in ES, I will probably close the trade, because then it's probably not going to pan out. And it probably goes lower. So this candle right here is kind of like the one for me. It needs to move. It can't be stalling too much. Because for me, it's spent way too much time in here already. Way too much time. Way too much time. Way too much time. Way too much time. Because in 12 minutes, essentially we've gone nowhere. So, yeah, not a fan of that. I don't like how, if I look at ES, I'll just show you real quick. This gap is what I was looking at. Look how ES has kind of run through that gap. I don't like that. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you and say I like that. I don't like that. Now, this right here is all we have. If this gets broken, then yeah, it's just a loss of a trade. That's pretty much all it is. I don't like how we held that. I would have liked it better again if we kind of came up there, but you know what? If it's a loss, it ends up being a loss. Like, that's just what it is for this week, or for today, not this week, because we trade again tomorrow. You can't try to like protect yourself and stop everything, and it is what it is. It is what it is. So now I'd like to see this kind of, since it's come down here and take this stop, since it's done that, this needs to like run aggressively. It can't be staying down here. Like, this needs to run, like overlap all of these candles, because if it's not doing that, then this is definitely not a stop run. That's going lower to go lower. So this can't respect this. Like, this needs to run away. Flipping like this, flipping bearish, that's not a good sign. Not a good sign. Yeah, pretty much the reaction just had right there with 11 seconds left. That is not a good sign. Not a good sign. It looks like it might want to. Yeah, that's. For me, it's kind of in like iffy land. So that's what I'd call it, iffy land. It didn't flip totally bearish, but it also didn't like expand. So we would label this, in my opinion, as a turtle soup. That's why, because I'm bullish, that's why I would call it turtle soup. So it came down below our low, which I said was a potential. Now, if I had jammed my stop loss up, I'd be stopped out. And let's say it does go higher. I don't know. Let's say it does go higher. Now I'd have a missed opportunity because I was scared to take a loss. I just let it play out. This needs to move, though. I'm gonna be honest. It needs to move. If it does not show movement here and it's just being stuck and held, we're gonna be out this trade. Because what is it, like 14 minutes or so? We've traded sideways. In 16 minutes, we would have pretty much traded nowhere. And so we have, what, 14 minutes left until if nothing happens, if nothing happens, then yeah, we gotta kind of, you know, we're gonna have to kind of close this one. Again, want to see movement. I don't want to see it struggle. We have 10 seconds left. Not trying to see it struggle moving higher, because that's just, oh, this isn't necessarily a breakaway gap actually. This would be, like, in my mind, a key signature because it was able to close. It didn't close in lower portion yet. That'd be my thought process here. This is a long trade. I'm trying to tell you, this is a very long trade. Especially in terms of what I look for, this is a very long trade. Very, very long trade. Like, insanely long. For me, it's just, I like it. In terms of the setup, I like where it is. I like where it's kind of being held. But like in terms of speed and excitement and all that stuff, it's just, that for me is not there. That part for me is just not there. And so yeah, just bleh. I'm feeling kind of bleh about this right now. But we're gonna let this one play out. This is very high resistant. This is what this looks like. This is what you call low resistance. You see how it just low, it just, you know, looks so elegant and just comes down. This is what you call high resistance. So it's kind of letting me know a little bit. But this needs to kind of start moving away. I know I've been saying that, but it really does need to do that. Because it's spending too much time down here. Way too much time. And right now we have about a time stop. We have about, 12 minutes left. 11 minutes left. And, you know, hopefully we can, you know, start trading up here. But it's, the longer it's sitting right here and below this low, for me it feels like it's less likely to occur in my direction. Doesn't mean it's impossible, but you're spending too much time down there. Like in a, let's say it ends up going 30 minutes, and let's say we actually get up here in 30 minutes and have to close the trade. Out of the 30 minutes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like almost 10 minutes I spent in drawdown. And I wouldn't say that this is a terrible entry. I wouldn't say that. But man, it's hard, don't get me wrong. Like this is a this has been a draining trade. I'm not gonna lie. It's been very, very draining. Like if we look at the one from yesterday, looks nothing like this. Nothing. Now we do have, I mean, obviously it can go either way, but I'm looking for higher prices. We do have a macro occurring in 7 minutes, but like, man, I just don't like where it's at right now. Yeah, look at ES. I don't like where it's at. Like this is just a lot of time in drawdown. Like if it comes out hits my stop, like that's, I think my stop is in a fairly decent place for what we're looking at and looking for. Like I don't, like it's running, it would have ran through so much. I know the order block is way down here, but I wouldn't expect it to, like from where it's at, it really came like what, 14 handles away. So yeah, I'm just trying to also make sure, like, while I'm in this trade, I'm not like thinking of it as like a hope and a prayer and just praying and hoping that this goes higher, because those are trades that just you don't necessarily want to be in, and they don't support what you're looking for. So yeah, I mean, this looks like right now that it's probably going to end up being a stop out, but we'll let it go. Just spend too much time up there. I would be like very, very surprised actually if this ends up going in a direction because of just the time. Like, I'd be very, very surprised. I'm not gonna hold you. It'd be one of those times where it's like, oh, you got rewarded for your for your patience. But yeah, I would be very surprised about that. Now we do have, this is the 5-minute chart. I don't like this, but like what we do have here is interval and below. This for me is more like a hope and a prayer, but it's still there. You do have a 15-minute fair value gap here. This to me is just like a deep hope and a prayer, but I feel like this is gonna get ran through. Like, I don't actually trust this at all, to be honest. I don't trust that one bit. Yeah, S&P just looks heavy, so I'm thinking that, yeah, it's gonna end up coming down here. It's okay. There's more days to trade, so. Yeah, I don't think this is a, yeah, there we go. Stopped out for like 500 and whatever, 500 something. So that's the trade for today. I don't think that it's gonna come down here and then trade higher. It may end up doing that. May come all down here and end up trading higher. That's okay. I like the entry. I like where it was stacking. I liked all the things that were there and present. Just today, the same. It just didn't offer that. Yeah. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys who stayed here and hung out with me for that long. But yeah, I'm going to note my charts up and do all this. I'll be again here tomorrow, same time, 9:10 on Friday, and we'll see if we can get something happening there. I appreciate everyone that came to stop by, and I will catch you guys tomorrow. Hope you guys have a great day, and God bless you.